Hello, Jay. So it's been a while since I've been here. I have my bulldog socks on today, and I brought my copy of the catechism, so we're going to be a little bit heavier today. I've been asked a couple of times in the last couple of weeks about the role of conscience in decision making. Like everything else, or should I say like many things, a lot of Catholics don't know what the Church actually teaches. So I just want to talk about moral decision making and conscience. I'll try to be brief. The whole classes are taught on this. I'll bet at John Carroll there's a whole semester on this topic. I'll bet in the seminary a whole semester on this topic. I'm going to do it in 7 minutes. So it'll just be a brush up. It'll be more than most people have had. What is the role of the conscience in moral decision making? Let me read you a quote from the Catechism, which is simply quoting Vatican II. God created man a rational being, conferring on him the dignity of a person who can initiate and control his own actions. God willed that man should be left in the hand of his own counsel. God willed that a man should be left at his own counsel so that he might, of his own accord, seek his Creator to freely attain his full blessing and perfection by cleaving to him. We're in control of our own actions. Let me read one more thing, and this is from the Catechism. A human being must always obey the certain judgment of his conscience. If he were deliberately to act against it, he would condemn himself. If you act against your conscience, you condemn yourself. Yet it can happen that moral conscience remains in ignorance and makes erroneous judgments. We are called to act according to our conscience. Vatican II goes on to say that in our soul, in the deep of our hearts, is that place where God speaks to us, our conscience. And Vatican II goes on to tell us that we are required to follow our conscience, as is the Catechism. And so, oftentimes Catholics don't understand this. This is what we're called to do. So, that's a simple answer to a great big problem, and probably doesn't tell you the right answer. So can we do whatever we want if our conscience says so? Or better yet, and here's the most important question, can someone tell us what to do? I'm a pastor. Can I tell the parishioners here that they must do something or not do something? Many of you would be surprised to say that I can't. I can only tell you what the Church teaches because the conscience is primary. So what are we supposed to do? How do we make decisions, especially moral decisions, in times that are always fraught with moral difficulty? They've always been fraught with moral difficulty, but perhaps now more than ever. What the Church wants us, each individual Catholic, to do, and this is hard because it's so hard to make this happen in a parish. I've struggled with this. The Church says that you must have a well-informed conscience. You must have a well-informed conscience. And so it's not just, I thought about it, here's my conscience. The Church says we must consider what the Church has to say. The Church has spent centuries pondering over many of the issues that we ponder, and had theologians and scientists ponder these decisions. So the Church says you must have a well-informed conscience, and that means you must understand what the Church teaches and why. You have to have a good understanding of that and why. And then we're supposed to take that and give the Church the benefit of the doubt. They've been around forever. They have theologians and scientists and universities working on these questions to say they must know something that maybe I don't know fully. And so we're supposed to give the Church the benefit of the doubt. This is why they teach it. I need to consider their voice in my decision making. Then, after saying the Church says this, here's why it teaches, and it's important. They've spent a lot of time thinking about it. Then I pray about it and ponder it to the best of my ability and make a decision on some moral issue. That's what the Church teaches us to do, is to ponder after giving the benefit of the doubt that the Church has a place at the table. Lots of us don't do that. What does the Church teach and why? And that's important to me because I am a follower of Jesus Christ. And then pray about it, reflect on it, discern, and then make a choice. The Catechism says the choice can be wrong, and the Catechism also that, but if we've done our job, sin is not part of that conversation. Listen to this. Responsibility for an action can be diminished or even nullified by ignorance, inadvertence, duress, fear, habit, inordinate attachments, and other psychological or social factors. So sometimes even when we do the good work that we're doing because of habits or social or psychological or social factors, we can still make wrong decisions. They can be wrong, but they're not imputed to us as sinfulness. And so the church can't tell us what to do, it can teach us. And then we ponder it to the best of our ability and make a good decision that makes sense for us. We can make mistakes, and often do. They're not sinful if we've done the work. If we've not done the work, then we've not made a good decision according to our faith. So I can't tell the parishioners of Jesu what to think and how to act and what to believe. I can tell them why the church teaches something, or Jesus, let's just go right to the heart, and why it's important. And I can tell them, you should consider this as you consider what you're doing. Consider the gospel and say, there's something here I need to think about. And then pray about it and discern about it and make your decision. The church thinks that we before God are holy. And that voice in our heart, our conscience, is that place where we are alone with God in the very intimacy with God to make decisions. And our highest value is when we listen to that voice of God and make good moral decisions. So, we're called to learn, called to give priority to what the church teaches and the way we discern. Then we're called to pray and ponder. And then we're called to make a decision. I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you where to look. I can tell you what's important. So I hope that's helpful. If it's not, maybe put a comment in. Again, this could have been a whole semester, and I just did it in 7 minutes. God bless.